So since we're just kind of like dipping our toes in here, I think maybe we shouldn't spend too much time in there the first go around.
Okay. How's a 15-minute sound?
Yeah, I think that's good. Hello?
Hey everybody, welcome to What the Flick. Alonzo, Christy, welcome to our very first all spoiler review. Because there's no way to talk about this movie without spoiling the shit out of it. So we like it, and that's all we're gonna say.
What's it called?
Oh, the one I love.
And who's in it?
With Mark Duplass and Elisabeth Moss, and we're fans. And should we do our score up front, and then people can turn it off? If they
Let's
don't
do
want
a score up front.
Okay, I give it a 7.5.
I give it a 7. I give it a 7. Yeah, so 7.3. So it's really good.
Yes.
But stop watching us now. Go see the movie, and then come back and watch the rest of this.
Okay.
So go away.
Okay, so now.
Okay, we can talk
now
about the
it's
one
just
I love.
we can talk about it. All right.
All right. So Mark Duplass and Elisabeth Moss are a young married couple. They are having trouble. When we first see them, they are at the therapist's office, played by Ted Danson, who suggests that they go away for the weekend to this beautiful retreat in, it looks like Ojai.
Something like that.
I'm gonna go with Ojai. And as soon as they get there, strange things start happening. Take a look.
Whoa, fascinating.
Tell me.
Do you understand how insane you sound right now?
It's so weird.
It's
isn't it?
really odd.
It's like a perfect retreat. Just the two of you. I've sent a lot of couples there, and they've all come back renewed.
We'll make up some ground rules.
Okay, no spying. We'll be honest with each other about what happens in the house.
It's like an exercise in trust. Sophie? You're kidding me. Sophie, open the door!
Okay, Ethan.
How do you see this playing out?
I'm not leaving.
This entire weekend has been one planned trap.
Sophie, stop!
It was kind of magical.
We also had a fantastic time when we did ecstasy, but we're not going to do that every day of our lives because you die.
Right.
Okay, so what do you think happens here? I have so many questions.
Yeah. All right. But because I'm sure the trailer doesn't give it away.
trailer will not,
Okay.
no.
So what happens is they get there, and each of them at some point goes into this little guest house attached to the property, and has an encounter with their partner that is great, and they communicate like they haven't in a long time, and they have sex, and all these things are happening. But then they come to realize that the two of them are encountering other, like, the lookalikes of their partners in that guest house. Like, every time one of them walks into like if Elisabeth Moss walks into the guest house, then other Mark Duplass shows up, and vice versa. If Mark Duplass walks in, other Elisabeth Moss is there. So they come. So at first they flee. They're like, "What the hell is going on here?" But then they're both really intrigued, and of course, obviously, I think really into this idealized version of the partner who's waiting for them in the guest house. So they go back and they take turns going in the guest house, and they lay down these rules like you're not going to have sex with them, and you're not going to do this, you're not going to do that, and it just spins crazily out of control until finally the four of them are sitting down at a dinner table, kind of confronting each other. I had no idea where this was going to go.
I didn't either. It surprised me from minute to minute. The second that they lay down ground rules, you know that they're all in trouble.
Of
There's no
course.
way anyone's going to be
Yeah.
able to adhere to them. I like the little small stylistic changes in each of them. Like the other Mark Duplass has slightly messy
Better hair, yeah.
He's not wearing his glasses, and the slightly other Elisabeth Moss has her hair pinned back, and she's wearing softer, more frilly, girly clothes, and she's like a feminine and doting and adorable version of herself. But she makes some bacon. She's not schlepping around in her sweatshirt or whatever. It's a two-hander, as they say in the vernacular, or it becomes a four-hander. But for an indie film, the effects are really great. Like, I don't know how they did it. I sat there racking my brain going, how did they make this so seamless? Like, there's never a point where you can tell how they're staging it, to the point where, you know, she's talking to herself and handing herself things. It reminded me a lot of Moon.
Yeah, that's
they
true.
Opposite versions of themselves. There's got to be an article written someplace soon that explains how they did it, but also how do they keep track of the various versions of themselves within a moment?
I'm sure it's like, how we got two, Winklevi and the Social Network. There's probably another actress.
That's a big budget movie.
Well, okay, yeah, but the thing is, with FX now, you can do a lot of this stuff pretty cheaply. So I'm sure there was just like a stand-in actress, and they just put Elisabeth Moss's face on her for that scene where the two of them are together or whatever.
It was very well
But
done.
I mean, just on that level, it works really well. But it's also, it really just is such a fascinating relationship drama in terms of, the person that we wind up with, and then the person that we wanted that person to be when we got with them in the first place, that we hoped they were going to grow into instead of maybe the direction they went in. I mean, I just think it really, it raises a lot of really cool can of worms stuff about what happens to people in a relationship and when do they stop accommodating each other, or do they stop accommodating each other, and that kind of thing. My thing with a movie like this, if you're going to go with a big crazy twist like that, you either don't explain it, or if you explain it, it better be tight and make sense.
They don't really explain it.
But there's enough there where he finds the computer and there are
other couples that they have done this with.
Exactly,
right?
yeah. Where it's like, wait, what? And so there's just enough explanation that it doesn't make sense. And that bugged me. I was kind of like, ugh, look, just if you had not told me at all, I'd have been perfectly happy and just gone with it. But once you introduce a bit of an explanation and then don't follow through with it and it's not rational, then I'm disappointed.
Is it that it's all this giant orchestration to keep Ted Danson's therapy office afloat? That's what I think, because once they're onto him, he bolts. Like they go to the empty office and it's been vacated.
How hard is it to be a relationship counselor in Southern California? I don't think you need to go to those kind of extremes.
That's a good question, right? And so, so is it that there is like a spirit? What are they? Are they robots? Are they spirits? And they inhabit different bodies? Like, who are all the different couples?
That's the thing. It's like either don't go there at all or take it all the way. Like if you there's a great Harlan Ellison story called Shatterday that they made into I think a Twilight Zone, like a new Twilight Zone episode with Bruce Willis actually, where this guy starts realizing that he's being replaced by a much better version of himself. And the whole story is just these phone calls between the two of them. And like the nice version is basically fixing this guy's life and mending his relationships and doing all the stuff that the worst version wasn't doing. And over the course of the week, like the worst version just starts kind of slowing down and gets sicker and is basically going to disappear. And it's a cool story. They never explain to you why, but it's a cool, concept and it works as a story. I think this would have been perfect if they had just not even tiptoed into the waters of what's actually going on here. But then once they do, it's like, well, okay, now you have to take the plunge, and they didn't, and I found frustrating.
And there's a cheesy kind of special effect thing that goes on once the fake Mark Duplass tries to make a break for it, and he runs into it's like something out of Land of the Lost. It's like this force field that engulfs him, and then he collapses. But conceptually, perhaps it works better than like the follow through on the execution. The notion of do you want a perfect spouse? They keep saying, I love us how we are, I want us to be messy.
Yeah.
But then they're drawn to the perfect versions of each other.
Sure, it's kind of a Stepford spouse situation.
Yeah, it's creepy. And then the tension and the alliances all kind of keep shifting in terms of who's with who, and you have to kind of keep your brain on to remember which one is which. And
And now the ending, what the hell, we're spoiling. Let's talk about the ending.
All right.
Do we think that Elisabeth Moss A, let's say, is trying to loosen up and be more the person that he wants her to be, so she's making bacon at the end? Or did he leave with Elisabeth Moss B?
He chose B. He chose B, maybe subconsciously.
But did he choose her, or did Elisabeth Moss A choose to stay with Mark Duplass B?
I think he thinks he's picking A, and he's picking his true wife, and thinks he's done the right thing, and we're going to be good now. We're going to be happy, and then the second she suggests breakfast, that it's going to be bacon. And the look on his face just falls when he realizes, oh crap, I chose the wrong one. I think he chose the wrong one.
But was he the one in charge of that, or was it Moss A deciding, no, I'm going to stay in the guest house with Duplass B?
I think Moss B wanted out.
Well, obviously,
Moss B
both of the
wants
Bs,
out and pretends to be A.
both of the Bs wanted out, but do we think A chose to stay?
Maybe a little bit of both, yes.
Yeah, maybe me too.
Because she likes life in the guest house.
Exactly.
With
Yeah,
the perfect
I was thinking that too.
surfer version of Mark Duplass. So maybe they both chose, and that's an interesting twist
Totally.
as well,
Yes.
right?
Yeah, no,
so
I
if we,
like
if we
that.
didn't have the whole recording studio computer section, also, why is that in that house? For
Yeah, why have it
anybody
on the
to
premises?
find.
Yeah,
For anybody
totally.
to find. Anyway, so go ahead. What's your number?
So no, 7.5. This is a
Yes.
provocative movie, and people should definitely check it out. It is available streaming on demand, so wherever you are in the U.S., you can get it off like Amazon or iTunes. I think the usual suspects.
iTunes has it. I give it a 7, so our average is a 7.3. It is 79% on the tomato meter.
If
so.
you are watching it with your significant other, look out.
Bye.